Welcome back to the Ascend podcast. I am Geet Gera, founder and CEO of AI Ascend Partners. We help founders and operators put AI to work. Automation, AI visibility, growth systems built on 24 plus years of enterprise technology and program management across global financial institutions. On this show, I sit down with founders who are building real things and figuring out in a real time where AI belongs in the business and where it doesn't. Today, I have Scott Burgess, founder of SAASEA, a global community platform built specifically for SaaS founders and professionals. Scott has over 16 years of SaaS marketing experience, worked with over 100 early stage startups around the world, and started SAASEA because he saw every platform built for founders was actually broken for them. Scott, welcome. Really glad to have you.
Thank you for having me. I'm really excited to be here.
So, Scott, before we get into where SAASEA is today, take me back. You were working as a fractional CMO, working with over 100 early stage SaaS startups. What was the moment you realized Upwork and Fiverr were genuinely broken for this space?
Yeah. So when I was working with early stage startups around the world, I was doing either fractional work or advising work or just kind of consulting for all these startups. And I saw an issue happening, and it was happening with my founders. They would come to me and they would ask me if I had anyone that they know to work with in different areas of the business. Say they need a developer or someone in operations, and I would refer them to someone I knew in my network. And the reason was they were complaining about Upwork and Fiverr. They would get inundated with unqualified applicants, people who had no SaaS experience, and there was a lot of high fees. On the flip side, at the same time, myself working as a fractional CMO, fractional head of marketing, I would sometimes supplement my work by going into Upwork and Fiverr because sometimes founders would go there to look for people just like me. And I hated the experience. They charged you so much money just to apply for roles. It was a pay to play scenario. There were scam job postings and people never hired. And plus, they sometimes took 10 to 20% of your contract value. So both sides of the marketplace were hurting and hating the experience. And that's why back in 2023, I realized there has to be a better way. And when I realized the founders were really hating the fact that they were getting all these unqualified applicants who didn't know anything about SaaS, that's when it hit me. There must be a place just for SaaS for both founders and for people, for SaaS professionals who work in the SaaS industry to find work and collaborate with each other. And that's how this whole idea came about. And it's changed a lot since then. The journey from where we are now, from where we started, it's just incredible.
You grew a waitlist of over 400 people with zero marketing spends, just a few Reddit and LinkedIn posts. What does that signal tell you about the size of the problem that you were solving?
Yeah, it shows me that people are interested and hungry for something new. We're all inundated on LinkedIn every single day with people reaching out to you in the DMs. We're all craving human community in this world of AI. And I'm also just seeing that people are tired of big businesses like Upwork and Fiverr just taking advantage of people who are just trying to live and make a living. So the market is huge for it. When I first started putting out feelers to people in the industry, whether it was freelancers, the founders, they were all like, yes. So when I started my waitlist in May of 2024, I made a few posts about it on Reddit, and then I took a step back and just let it grow organically on its own. And with zero marketing, zero talking about it online, it was still in stealth mode on my LinkedIn and everything. Grew to over 400 people who were waiting for it. So when I launched the platform back in November of 2025 for early stage and beta access, I grew to over 40 members within a few days, which was awesome. And since then, the platform has changed tremendously. I went from building a marketplace, a true freelancer platform that was only for marketing eventually, and now it's grown into a global SaaS community for SaaS founders and SaaS professionals. And it's so much more than a marketplace. That's actually not even the main thing now. It's really a community, a place where people can come together and they can network, they can meet people, collaborate. Of course, they can hire people or find jobs, but the more the actual meat and heart of it is learning and collaboration. There's so many things that happen, from roundtables to office hours to programming, fireside chats, and just things to help you grow your business, not only as a founder, but also as a SaaS professional. We're still supporting them and having programming just for them. So really just trying to build a place where everyone in the SaaS community can come together, talk, collaborate, and help each other grow.
Yeah, rightly said. And you said something in our pre-call and right now as well that, people are craving human connection in the age of AI. And that AI is actually making that hunger stronger, not weaker. Say more about that. What are you seeing inside, your roundtables?
What I'm seeing is, so we're having founders join from all around the world. Right now, SASE itself, we're at about 130 something members from 20 different countries. But what's more interesting is the roundtables. And these people who are joining the roundtables currently aren't actually members of the SASE community yet. These are roundtables I'm hosting right now are to get people into the actual platform and give them a taste of what SASE is actually like. And so far, we've had over 19 countries sign up for. I think 70 something people register for these roundtables. And it's just incredible how across the world, from every single different culture, people at every stage. So they're all early stage founders, but some are pre-seed. Some of them have money. Some of them have an idea. Some of them already have revenue coming in. Is that they're all facing the exact same challenges. And when they're on this roundtable and they're talking, the guards come down and it's almost like a therapy session. People start talking about their challenges, their wins. They look to each other for advice and help because someone on the roundtable has probably already been there, even myself. And that's what's really exciting is that it's a universal problem. And when you're building an early stage SaaS startup, the only person who really understands you is another founder. Your family doesn't get it. Your friends don't get it. They don't understand the pressure you're under. But here you felt seen. And that's why everyone leaves there mainly happy and pumped up about their business because for an hour of their day, they're with people who are like them, who are in the same boat as them, just trying to make it. And they feel heard and seen. And that just warms my heart every time I get off and I see people smiling.
That's very interesting. It's interesting to see these small wins of getting connected to more people across different countries before you get to the big win.
Yeah, it's a great thing. I love that that's one of the things that's happening with the platform. And the best thing that's I think is really coming out of these roundtables is just the sense that people aren't building alone. And one of my main goals around it is to help.
If they get into a problem or they get stuck somewhere, they have some helping hand there, basically. That's what they are possibly, gaining from there. And you're running these roundtables for free right now, and founders keep showing up. You described it as a sigh of relief when they land there. What are they actually sighing relief from?
I think it's mainly that they're not building alone. So many of these founders are building in towns and cities around the world that aren't in a tech community. I'm lucky I'm in Miami. We have a booming tech community here, almost overwhelming at times with how many events are going on. But it's a lot of work to go to this first in-person events, deal with traffic and the timing and there's a meeting at this time. And so what's great about SASE is I'm bringing together people from all around the world. And these people wouldn't have access to networking or other founders in their local communities because they just happen to live somewhere that's not in Boston or New York or London or where it has a tech community. And that's what I'm seeing is those people coming together from around the world and having access to something that they wouldn't have access to. And that's some of the thank yous I've gotten is thank you. Like we don't have anything like this where I live.
Yes, that is the power of technology nowadays, that you can connect to anyone across the globe and you feel that someone understand me, and people going through the same stages are the most that they understand each other and get value from each other.
Absolutely.
Where does AI belong in SAASEA and where does it absolutely not belong?
Yeah. So I am a big believer in AI and the power behind AI, but it's also creating lots of issues within our own communities. And the way I look at it as SASE is we are a human first platform. We are about making connections with people. When our founders and our professionals sign up for us, and they submit their profile to get approved to be able to message people or be a member of the platform, they go through a review process. And we're reviewing their profile for accuracy and making sure that they're a real person. Another layer on top of that is if you want to be a member of the community and actually you have to have your ID verified. We're trying to reduce scammers here. And so that whole process is actually done by a human. Obviously, we have an AI automation that does the biometric screening if you want to do your ID through there, which saves a lot of time. But the actual review of the profiles is all by 100% human. I think there's a lot of bias in the current ATS systems out there that people apply to, and I don't want to create bias within this platform. The whole point of it is to have equality and equity for people from around the world. So that's one way we're not using them. Now, the way that I'm using AI, obviously, is to help me with coding. I'm helping with backend automations, outreach. I'm soon creating some agents to help me with outreach and some marketing things. So mainly along those lines is mainly to help streamline my own operations and make me move faster as a solo founder. It's just me. I have no one helping me. I'm bootstrapped. I don't have funding. So I'm having to do it on my own. Now, you did mention one of the cool features that I've been exploring and kind of testing and working on, which is kind of an AI concierge or something like that, where you can type in, hey, I'm looking for a founder who has a startup in fintech, or I'm looking for a product marketer who has fintech experience in credit card processing. And it would be able to search through all the profiles and find those people that have it so that you could find people to work with easier. And that really helps you, especially as the platform grows and we grow our member base. Right now, we're still pretty small, like 130 something members. It's really easy to search through with our filters. But once we get larger, it's going to be a little more difficult. And I've talked to founders who say that that's a huge benefit for them. Just them to chat and find cool people they want to be able to get advice from or work with is a big win.
Correct. I agree with that. First of all, it gives you 24/7 support. You are building community across the globe. Everyone is in different time zones. That's one of the biggest feature of having a chat board or a support like that. I know that there are different mixed opinion of people about it and where we should use it or not. Some are still in favor, some are still in denial. But I think if you use it properly, where you say that, okay, if you need a human agent, you get a human agent, there I think it can be used for the best use.
Absolutely.
And you mentioned about the coding, right? So you're using no code tools to build this entire. How much of your build time is now AI assisted? And what's your honest take on vibe coding as a founder without a deep engineering background?
Yeah, so I'm using a no-code software called software.io to build my platform. And when I was first exploring platforms to use, I was looking at Bubble and a few other ones, but I landed on software because it was really easy to understand and they didn't have a ton of features at the time. Now they've expanded so much and every week have brand new things that come out and it's making my platform even more powerful. But at this point, I would say probably 80 to 90% of my coding is still using the no-code software because I built the majority of the platform before they released their vibe coding. Now, there's a lot of really cool things I've added in that have been vibe coded. There's an onboarding checklist. There's some really cool pricing things that lead you to the right plan you want. And those ones I enjoy vibe coding with because it's easy and I get to craft something I want. Now, of course, obviously it has its issues and everything around it. Sometimes it doesn't quite come out the way I wanted to, but typically it comes out perfectly the way I needed to. And I wouldn't have had that feature without it. So now more and more of the stuff I'm adding in is starting to have more vibe coding around it just because of the way they've changed their UI and UX. They kind of force you to use some of the vibe coding sometimes, which is a good thing because it's giving me a really cool new look. And as my platform's evolved and I've really dug deeper into the understanding of how the database works with the front ends and how to make it look beautiful, it's gotten so much more powerful than my very first MVP. I just released V2 a few weeks ago and I'm still in the process of tidying it up a little bit. And the V2 is so much more powerful and it's prime for conversions. At the end of the day, the software is great, but if no one's paying for it, then there's no point in it.
Yeah, I agree. So that's what I would like to ask. Like, if you could have a magic wand that instantly fixes one thing in SAASEA right now, is it like what you're looking at? Is it like the more visibility, members in the door, or revenue? Which one would you pick and why?
Ooh, I think right now I'm going for more members. I am because I'm looking to activate the platform. So right now, I haven't. I just recently added the infrastructure to accept payments. Free trials are running now, so everyone who starts up does get a free trial now. What I'm mainly focused on is bringing in as many members as possible now into the platform, so they can get a taste of it and then want to subscribe. And if I need to extend these free trials for another month or two, I totally will because I'd rather have people inside the platform using it and giving me feedback and actually enjoying it and seeing the value besides just trying to collect the payment from them. So again, it goes back to that human first connection. I'm really trying to build something that people want to use, people enjoy using, and that they actually get true value behind. And if there's no one using it, then there's no point. So right now, my main focus is bringing in founders. They're my number one target right now. But I haven't forgotten about the SaaS professionals. I have that healthy wait list of so many professionals that the time is right. So I'm planning on a big relaunch. No one knows this yet. There's a big relaunch coming later this month by mid Q2, let's just say that, of SaaSEA with our new positioning as a global SaaS founder and professional community, because that's what we truly are. We're a community at heart. And it just took a few months of understanding that we're a community to get there. Nothing's changed in the platform, same platform. Just it's crazy how just one change in how you speak about it changes your entire trajectory of where you're heading.
Correct. Congratulations and good luck for the new launch that you are planning
Thank you.
for. And I'm hoping it's going to go really well as you have thought about it and maybe, exceeds your expectations.
Thank you.
So you have worked with over 100 early stage founders as a fractional CMO before building your own thing. Now you're on the other side. What's the thing you told other founders to do that you have found hardest to do yourself?
Man, it is so hard to take your own advice. I'm lucky that since I've been an executive at a few startups, I have experience in almost every aspect of the business since I did help make the decisions on the road mapping and where we're going from a sales direction and everything. So I'm lucky to have that experience and that many founders don't. Since I was working with so many founders, either through fractional work or advising or consulting, sometimes it was hard to get them to focus. And I'm realizing now that I understand why, because I have so many ideas and I call it squirrely. I'm like, squirrel here, let me go this way, let me go here. But the one thing I'm proud of myself is I have stuck to my plan. And while things have changed, my plan has remained the same. And I have changed directions, not really in the way we're heading. It's more in what the best viable option was to bring in the first revenue and how we get there. And in these changes, you kind of start thinking about processes and procedures and everything. So I guess going back to the question about my own medicine, it's trying to stay focused and not overbuild. So many founders I worked with just kept wanting to build, and not release. I'm a big believer in releasing. So I released V2. It was pretty much there. I found many bugs since I released it and had fixed them. But the reason was I wanted to get it out before the first roundtable I had, because it was very important for if that founder went into the new platform to see how it actually looks and feels and actually has the right messaging versus what it was before that was a marketplace to freelance and marketplace. So I didn't want to have them land in a freelancing marketplace and be like, this is totally different what he talked about. So that's why I pushed it out. And I always tell my founders, push it out, get it out there. I don't care if it's not perfect, get it out there. And to do that myself has been very challenging sometimes. And I've had to just swallow that pill and go with it and be like, I'll fix it later. It's not that big of a deal.
Getting done is more important than being perfect.
Yes, absolutely.
And so when did you launch the first version? November, you said, right?
Yes, so early November, I think it was like November 3rd or 4th, I released the first version of it just to get it
How
out there.
many-
It was doing small fixes in between. And then when it got to March and I had grown, in March, it was incredible. We grew by over 40% in March. We had a big growth spurt. And then I realized if I really want to go in and target these founders, I need to change some of the copy in here. And when I started changing the copy, I realized, well, man, this isn't really primed for conversions. This doesn't make sense. This isn't going to want to make you keep a founder stay here. So I started making these changes and I told myself it'd be a quick and easy fix. Here we are. That was mid-March. Here we are, early July, and I'm in the final stages of it. I'm mainly just adding in notifications, workflows, and things on the back end to help give a better experience, not just for them, but for me. So I know what's happening in the platform. I've been doing some final testing. So, it's taken a little bit longer than I thought, but I think the thought process and the reason it's taken this bigger step back is that now that the platform is ready to go, it will only further accelerate the growth. It's a lot of when you reposition a platform, it takes a lot of time. Let's just say that.
So in between these 6 months, you have taken time to get the feedback, implement it, release the version that you were looking for, and also change your positioning. That's the most important bit of it that has changed since then.
Absolutely. I'm excited to relaunch it to the people who haven't logged in a very long time. I'm sure there's some of those early people who haven't logged in since the beginning because nothing was really happening on the platform at the point. So I'm excited for them to see the new version of SAASEA and to see the true value behind it because, we are craving this community and there's so many disjointed platforms out there to get advice on or to network with. There's nowhere that really brings it all together under one roof. That's just truly for SaaS.
Great. Scott, this has been a real conversation and I appreciate you being honest about what you're building, where you are and how you, started off and where you have come so far. Can people find you and where should they go to check out about the SAASEA?
Yes, you can find me on LinkedIn. My name, it's under Scott Burgess or Scott Ryan Burgess if you try to find me on there. And if you want to learn more about SAASEA, go to saasea.io. So SAASEA.io. The name came about because I was thinking about a sea of SaaS, like a sea of SaaS opportunities, a sea of SaaS founders and startups. And all of our marketing can be a little cheeky about getting on board and riding the wave. So that's kind of how the brand came about, which a lot of people resonate with. I get a lot of compliments on the naming and the branding.
Yeah, I think
That's
it's
where
a
they can
great
find me.
name.
Thank you. Thank you.
So that's Scott Burgess, founder of SAASEA, building the community that SaaS founders and professionals actually needed. If today's conversation hit home for you, share it with one founder who is building alone somewhere. That's the whole point. I am Geet Gera, and this is the SN Podcast. We'll see you next time.